Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today I'm going to go through the contents of these toolbox drawers. I said on a post I was going to make a video about it quite a while ago, and today's the day. So I'll go through the contents of them and demonstrate some of the bits and pieces that are in there and show you what I use them all for. So let's crack on. So we'll start in the first one and let's go. This one full of spokes mostly. Some frame protection stickers in here. Box of spoke nipples. And then we have loads of different spokes. These are pre-cut to length, so these are black spokes, 270mm, packet of 10. So there's loads of different sizes, black and silver. These cover the vast majority of common wheel repairs that come in. And then I've got other ones that have come in as specials for the bladed spokes here, hammer end spokes, all sorts of stuff in here. And then there's also uncut spokes as well. So this one here is uncut, so I buy the longest one possible, uncut, and then we can cut that with the Hosan spoke cutter. So I'll show you that tool first. This is a Hosan spoke cutter. So what this is for is if you've got one spoke or two spokes that you want to cut a thread onto, or roll a thread onto, then you use this. You're certainly never going to rebuild an entire wheel. You're not going to cut 36 spokes with this. That's not its intention. Its intention is to do one or two spokes to sort of get you going again. If you're rebuilding an entire wheel, you'd order the spokes from one of the online companies, or if you're really flush, you'd spend £3,500 on a fill wood spoke machine. I don't see anywhere near enough wheels in here to justify one of those machines. So I use this, and anything else, like I say, I will order from a company such as Custom Cut Spokes in the UK. So basically you prep your spoke in there, cut it to length, obviously first of all, so you can compare it to the old spoke, cut it to length, and then these rollers here will roll or cut. Can't remember which one it is on this one, but they'll put a new thread onto this spoke basically. So I keep these rollers lubricated with some cutting fluid. There was always some on there anyway. And then you do get a handle with this, but it's far easier to do it with a drill. All you need to do is fit your drill to there, bottom it out in your chuck, and you tend to find that this distance here is pretty much the correct distance for cutting the actual thread. So once that's on there, you literally just power it on. And then back it out. And that's it, done. Undo this, and there's your spoke, ready to go, with a nice new thread on it. Brilliant machine for sort of what's like I say, one or two spokes. It's fantastic. You're not going to rebuild a full wheel with this. You could if you're insane, but don't do it. Alright, so next up is this drawer here. So this has got a load of boxes in here full of spare parts and bearings, etc. So these are sort of useful gadget boxes you'd see. So brake springs here, spacers, chainring bolts, all sorts of bits and pieces in here. So anything useful that goes in the bin, the good bits come off there as spares really. So things that you can't really order as spare parts, you keep them in there. Another one full of stuff here, exactly the same sort of bits and pieces. So all jockey wheels, lock rings, one with a magnet on there, all sorts of stuff, loads of cassette spacers, loads of derailleur spares and bits and pieces here. So they're pretty useful stuff. This one is bearings. So these all come from Kinetic bearings, ready to go like this in different sizes, 6903 for example. There's loads of different ones in there for wheels. This one is headset bearings. I keep a lot of different sizes in stock, but Sod's Law says it's always the exact one I don't have in stock. There's some more in here as well. These are headsets and wheel bearings as well, obviously. All sorts of stuff in there. And again, more wheel bearings here. So most of these are Enduro as well. Some of these are AliExpress or some cheap stuff like bottom brackets that you see me rebuild and stuff. So depends what the customer is for. If it's a little kid's bike, you're going to get AliExpress bearings. If it's a top end bike, you're going to get top end bearings. So depends on the customer's budget, etc. That's what lives in here. So in here we have all sorts. We have carbon fibre repair stuff here for not so much for frame repairs, but for things like cable stops that have fell off. You rivet it back on and stick it back on with epoxy. There's a roll of carbon fibre here for an experiment I was going to do. I've not done it yet, but there is carbon. I've done a sort of 5-6 years worth of a semi-professional carbon fibre business that I used to run, so I do know what I'm doing with carbon. This is the Part Tool Ultra Torque Compact bottom bracket kit that lives in its own little box in here. Doesn't get much use, but I've got it anyway. Ton of Sharpie pens. You always need Sharpies. More carbon fibre stuff. Loads of tape here. This is Gorilla tape. Use this for tubeless tape if you really want to. It does actually a good job on that. What I tend to do is use tubeless tape and then just put this over the join. It seals it very well. Masking tape. This is an Araldite 2-part 5-minute epoxy. You just squeeze this in basically to get a quick bit of epoxy. This is a box full of handlebar finishing tape or insulating tape basically, but it's designed for all that. And loads and loads of little touch-up paints here, paint brushes, all sorts of stuff like that basically. Onion board's very good. If you've not got that and you want to mix paint and stuff, onion paper is really, really good for that. It's sort of waxed paper, so you can mix the glue on here and mix it in. Then you just tear the sheet off when you're done with it and throw it in the bin. So rather than a bit of cardboard that gets fibres in it, onion board is really, really good for that. Next up is this one, which is basically footwear and a helmet and gloves. So if I need to go on sort of an extended test ride, I've got road shoes, I've got mountain bike shoes, there's gloves, there's a helmet obviously, and a few other bits and pieces. There's a AliExpress computer here I bought, I've never used. So this is useful for customers who are not aware of what SPDs are, and if they want to know what the difference is, then I can show them what sort of shoes and cleats they need to buy as well. So it sort of serves two purposes in that respect, so that's useful. The last one on this side is full of pretty much bottom brackets. There's a set of scales here you've probably seen me use. This is full of bottom brackets, square tape or old-fashioned bottom brackets in all different sizes. There's hundreds of them in here, well not hundreds, but there's a lot of them. You go through a lot of these. And here's a box of headset spacers and bits and pieces. These are all pretty much used parts, just, you know, sort of spares to get me out of. These are all top caps, all different types in there. And on this one we have bottom bracket spares as well. There's different types of axle nuts, all sorts of things in here. Praxis spacers, shell things, all sorts of stuff. Big circlips here. Some safety caps here for your Holotech cranks. Some dub caps here you get off AliExpress for about £1 instead of £30, fantastic. All sorts of stuff in here. Yeah, useful spares again, and more bottom brackets. So this one is probably one of the most used drawers. There's all sorts of stuff in here. Let me go through this. So we've got some double-sided 3M tape here, very strong stuff. Box of rivets. I've no idea what that is. There's some nozzles here for your grease guns. Velcro straps everywhere, you've seen me use those, loads of them. Box of plasters, you always need them. Some Shimano internal hub grease here. Some little stubby part tool Allen keys here, so these are much shorter than normal Allen keys if your access is a little bit restricted. These are quite good for that. They didn't make it to the tool board unfortunately. Super glue, you all need super glue. Some bearings here, some cotton buds. Buy these for, you know, putting grease, well not so much grease, but they're always useful. Bit of helicopter tape here. These are ribbons for this little Nimbot printer here. So this is really good little bit of kit. Switch this on and it will print you out little labels like this, whatever sort of ribbon you put in there. So this is a holographic one at the moment. You could just get a plain white one, obviously plain black. A really good bit of kit. Just Bluetooth it from your phone. So that's those. Empty box or a Jaguar cutter. This is what somebody else mentioned. It was really good for taking off old sealant from rims and tyres and stuff. This is basically I don't know what it's made of, some sort of wax or something. You basically rub that on, but I've never used it yet. It sounded good on the internet, so I bought it. This is an endoscope camera, so you can use this for going inside frames, etc. Just plug it into your phone, it's a little USB one. So a roll of magnets here, rare earth magnets, tripod. Some extended T25 bits here for the drivers. BSC Tools keyring, great guys. A few more of these little burrs, man, you clip these onto your rotors to set the pad distance allegedly. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. A couple of taps here for, I can't remember what these are for, through axles I think. Two different sizes, there's about 4 or 5 different ones that you really need, but hey. Illuminated magnifying glass. Like that, that's pretty good. More BSC stuff here, this is a little drift here for pushing out Shimano Holotech bottom brackets, cranks rather, through the bottom bracket. You just basically a plastic drift, put it through there and knock it through. I'm not sure what size they made this for, 15mm through axle, okay. But it's useful as well. I've used both of these, this one especially. Cushcore bead buddies, I've tried these, I didn't get on with them at all, but I've got them anyway. Pop rivet gun here for riveting stuff. Loads of little button batteries here, so if people bring in things like bike computers and the batteries are flat, I like to put new batteries in for them. More taps here. Spare pin for your chain tool. Some highlighter pens, not sure what that's for. Instructions for my camera light. More grease gun nozzles. Right, so there's all sorts of stuff in here. Bit of a mess to be fair, but it's all in there, I know where it is. So organised chaos, as they say. Someone can remind me what this is for, it'd be good. Spare blade in there, that's why I've kept that. The next one, this is all basically brake bleeding kit. So this is a box full of barbs and olives, all sorts of different sizes here. Different nuts, different pins, all sorts of bits and pieces here for bleeding brakes with, so that's again more useful spares. Part tool for dot fluid, part tool for mineral fluid. However, you'll find what's in here is basically a mixture of all sorts, so there's all sorts of bits and pieces in here. Not so much just the part tool one. I'll be honest, I don't like the part tool one. This hose just dries up and it's just horrible stuff. You can remake it, but it's not very good. It doesn't deal very well with the chemicals, especially the dot one. It basically is horrible. I guess they're all pretty much the same in that respect. It's just a bit of maintenance you go through. I did buy some spare hose just to make up new ones with, but just getting the time to do it when you need it. So that's that one. So the dot one is very rarely used, to be honest. We don't see much of it now and then, thankfully. Mostly full of SRAM bits and pieces as well, actually. There's RockShox ones here. So yeah, the part tool stuff doesn't get much use in that one. My advice is buy a cheap one and just replace it when you need to. This is obviously one of your easy MTB kits. So you see loads of this stuff on AliExpress. It's very, very cheap and actually does a really good job. These are Shimano bleed cups. I've got loads of these. They come in a little stand, so they just drip into there. Easy MTB one again. This is all bleed blocks, part tool ones, Shimano ones, all sorts of bits and pieces here, but most of the time the Shimano one for road bikes is my go-to. If not, we use this one. If not, we use the SRAM spreading one, I'll show you. So this tool is designed to spread pistons back in on a twin pot caliper, but what I tend to do is spread it and leave it in there as the bleed block, so it does a good job for that. But it's stupidly expensive again for what it is. For bleeding Shimano brakes, I only use the Shimano kit. This little nozzle here fits in the calipers perfectly, and the syringe is replaceable obviously if need be, so I always use this for Shimano. No reason not to, it does a great job. Little clamp here if you needed it for something. I can't remember what you use that for, but what you find is this drawer ends up as just a complete mess because there's fluid everywhere. It's horrible stuff. Hence it lives in its own little drawer to keep everything else clean. So next one has got all sorts of bits and pieces. There's a harness here and stuff for cameras. Doesn't get used much. There's some mini bolt cutters here for cutting spokes. They're really good for that. There's a little Panasonic Toughbook tablet. Doesn't get used. A set of seat post clamps here for Giant. I bought this on a whim. I've never used it, but it fits in your work stand around aero seat posts. It's quite good. I've never had a use for it yet. A multimeter here. I'm not an electrician, but for a very basic e-bike, sort of cheap faults, you can use that. A bigger hammer. Everyone needs a bigger hammer. Dead blow mallet. I don't know what this is. More camera stuff, I think, really. This is a applicator gun for construction epoxy, basically. So you pump that through there and it mixes it into a two-piece. It's very similar to the Araldite, but it's even stronger. This is structural adhesive. Bag for the tablet that doesn't get used. More tripods. More tripods. There's a Dremel. Don't use that a great deal. It's in there. This is a Belzona 1111. This is incredible stuff. You've heard of sort of this is like your fake metal sort of stuff, but on an industrial scale. This stuff's very, very expensive. It does an awesome job. You could practically rebuild a shaft with this. It's incredible stuff. Absolutely awesome, but extremely. Ah, there it is. Lost that and now I've just found it. So what this is basically a tool for removing cranks where the taper's damaged. So this is rather than being a nice square one, it's got a taper. So it'll go in there if the thread's slightly damaged and you can still pull it. I've been looking for this and I've just found it. There you go. Socket extension for 1/2 inch. I'm not entirely sure why that's in there. It shouldn't really be in there. It's for cars really. There's a meter here for measuring decibels. I use it on the bell test. AliExpress again. Good stuff actually. A couple of 1 kilo weights. I'm not sure what I've got them for, but it might be useful one day. And that's that. What's in here? I can't remember. More stuff, obviously. This is a box of stainless bolts. M4, M5, M6, all different lengths for all sorts of stuff. That gets used a lot. So this is liner for internally routed cables. Fire out a big roll, get through a lot of that. Again, foam for internally routed cables. There's a toe peak pump kit. This is for repairing track pumps and stuff. There's all sorts of washers and bits and pieces in there. Don't get much use, but when you need it, it's useful. Thousands of zip ties, cable ties, whatever you want to call them, in all different sizes and colours, and a cable tie gun you probably see me use. Half a breaker bar, and a Milwaukee bag and charger. Spare battery. That's for this little Milwaukee driver that I use for brake bolts and stuff like that. Really good. All this sort of stuff, ideal from AliExpress. This one here, cable ties. You know, it's very, very cheap. You get miles of it for virtually nothing. So that's ideal for stuff like that. You know, with little bits that you can just use, and then you've got a massive roll to keep you going forever. And here we have bulk chemicals, basically. So tie sealant, WD-40, zip, ultrasonic cleaner, things like that. They all get kept in there. Yeah, just a big mess in there, really. That's where they all live. So just before we continue with the rest of the remaining drawers, I just want to take a moment to thank this video's sponsor, Sport and Leisure. They've recently come on board to support the channel. I'm really pleased to have such a fantastic company on board. Sport and Leisure are a UK-based cycling retailer stocking thousands of products, from components and tools to clothing and accessories. Every item is clearly listed with accurate descriptions and high-quality photos, so you know exactly what you're getting, unlike some other websites I've used before. Unlike a lot of sites, they don't drop ship. Everything is held in their own warehouse and ready to go. As you place your order before 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it ships the same day with free shipping on all orders. Incredible. But if you need it urgently, the next day delivery is just £2.50 in the UK. Absolute bargain. So if your bike is in need of a few parts, or you need some workshop kit, then check out their easy to navigate website for some genuine bargains. They've also given me a discount code for viewers of this channel as well. On your first order, just use the code BCR10 at checkout and you'll be given an additional 10% off the already incredible prices. No brainer. So if you're after parts, upgrades, or just a few workshop spares, head over to sportandleisure.com. The link's in the description below. Thanks again to Sport and Leisure for supporting the channel. And now let's get back to the remaining contents over these drawers. So onto this side, you'll see a sticker here for Seat Post Man. So if you're in the UK and you've got to see Seat Post, go to him, he's awesome. Right, in this one we have files. So we've got needle files. These are special tungsten ones that are for carbon fibre. Again, I spent far too much money on back in the day. Got some really good profiles in here, nice little round curved one, and some more standard ones. This is a set of Hope tools for removing bearings from bottom brackets, or some bottom brackets. They're really nice. This is lots of nozzles for that construction epoxy gun. It's basically disposable they are, so it's one use only. This is soldering iron. It's the manual gun for putting in riv nuts into frames and whatever you need them for. Roll of solder. Some shim metal here, so this is in different thicknesses here. Don't really use this, to be honest with you, but it's in there just in case one day it's useful. Next one, basically socket sets in here. There's a handle for the hose and spoke cutter that you don't use. 1/2 inch socket set, 3/8 socket set, 1/4 inch socket set, tiny little things, precision screwdrivers. You can tell I like Facom. It's fantastic tools, honestly, really, really good. You don't need part tool everything. These are automotive brand, absolutely outstanding quality. Again, some more precision screwdrivers and clues on the box. Security bits. Always open it the right way up. There's all these fancy little star ones and stuff, so again, it doesn't get much use, but one day you're going to need them if you're not got them. I highly recommend Facom. I've had these for years and they're just literally indestructible tools. Absolutely awesome. But again, not the cheapest in the world. Next up, so this is power tools. Bit of a mess in here at the moment. So impact driver, drill, grinder. Once you've bought one battery, obviously the DeWalt battery, you're going to buy all the same tools, obviously. Be a bit crazy not to. This is a little heat gun. It's not a part tool, it's just some cheap rubbish one. T-Toc, but it's actually really good. Spare batteries everywhere. These are drill bits, tap and die sets, bits and pieces like that. These are helicoil sets for brake posts and things like that. This little Wearer toolkit is really, really nice. Tiny little stubby taps that you put into your little ratchet for very tight access. These are really nice. I can't remember what's in here. What's in here? A Remo, I think. A drill bit, massive drill bit for something. I think I was an extremely see-through axle I use that for. Tap handles. This is for honing inside seat posts. Once you've got to seize one out, just cleans it up. This is actually broken. I need to get a new one. I think there's a replacement head somewhere. Tap wrenches, just stuff like that, basically. All sorts of bits and pieces. No idea what's in this little box. Some of them, they're nice. Never been used. These are abrasive flat wheels. These are like a 120 grit or something like that, I can't remember. But you basically put them in the drill and they spin around and polish it. There's a more aggressive one there and a different one. Safety glasses, just bits and pieces for grinders and power tools really. So the next one is, this is a full Hope factory toolkit. Basically every tool that Hope make for brakes and stuff, there's hundreds of them in here. Yeah, everything's in there basically, so it gets a bit of use, but it's nice to have the special tools when you need it, things like this, you know, you're not going to use that for anything else. These are pretty much all Hope specific, so it's a nice bit of kit to have. And again, this is a factory DT Swiss toolkit. Every single drift they've ever made basically for their wheels, so that's all in there. Again, doesn't get much use, but when you need the right one, you need the right one. That was a bit extravagant there, it's far too expensive. This is a customer's set of SRAM chain rings. It just lives here because he swaps them between over the year, between where he goes on holiday, we just swap them over, so he leaves them with me. This is a box of heat shrink, black heat shrink, and another one of those Hope bottom bracket tools. I don't know why I've got two. That's all good stuff. The final one here is internal. This is brake cables for road bike, stainless ones. Oh, I've not got a box of these, I should have. And this is just some white brake cable outer, straddle cables, boxes of washers in random size, boxes of E-clips, C-clips, whatever you want to call them. Some fancy braided hose. No idea why this is in here. Big second hand used, massive thing that is. What size is that? 203. A couple of washers. That shouldn't be in there. Yeah, just bits and pieces. Random reflector. So this here is a box of, I can tell us what to feed our cat on. We used to feed our cats on that stuff. Now we make our own because this is crazy expensive. Anyway, this is a box of taps and dies for levers. This is obviously not hydraulic, but if you have a hydraulic lever and you damage the M7 port in there, I did attempt to make a repair. I didn't damage it, the customer damaged it, but we did attempt to make a repair and press some bushes in here with a new thread on it, etc. But the drill slipped and went straight through the middle of the lever, so it wasn't successful, but the idea is there, all the bits and pieces are there. And again, that just presses in there with a new thread on it, and hopefully we should repair the lever. I'll have another go when another one comes in, but we were so close and the drill just went a millimetre too far and went straight through the bottom. So the principle would have worked. Need a bit more practice though. But the lever is already scrapped, so we lost nothing. This is basically a bottom bracket shell that's been welded onto this. You can put it in a vise. I'm not sure how much use it's going to be yet, but I thought it was a good idea at the time, so I had someone weld it. Next one. Okay, so this is punches. This is a load of internal cable tools that I do attempt to keep tidy, but they just go everywhere, so it's a bit of a nightmare. They normally just get thrown back in here, unfortunately. This is a set of massive calipers that you can measure bigger things with, basically, so that's useful. We've got hubs and stuff like that. And this is a set of Allen key bits, I think, 1/2 inch. Yeah. So they get a bit of use, but I've got most of the ones that I need on a tool board anyway for free hub removal, sort of a 10, 11, 12, 13 size deep ones. They're there if need be. Next one, so this is a Ice Tools bracket facing kit and headset facing kit. Bits and pieces there, you've probably seen this in a few videos where you're facing bottom bracket shells. I get a bit of use, but again, it's not the cheapest tool in the world, but there's certainly more expensive versions available, that's for sure. ZTTO, this is a nice big kit. I haven't used this now because I've sort of upgraded, but this is one of the original ones I bought. This is for pulling bottom brackets out, press fit bottom brackets, and I think you can fit them with it as well. But it's been an awesome bit of kit. It's a bit confusing how to put it together because there's no real instructions on what combination of parts, but once you get it running, it does an awesome job. So I'd highly recommend you grab one of these for press fit bottom brackets. It's a brilliant bit of kit. I'll put a link below for it. I forgot I had this, but it's an awesome bit of kit. This one, Union pedal savers. So if you've got a damaged tape, if you've got a damaged thread on a crank, left or right hand, there's a different thread here. You basically use this tap here and cut a new thread into the crank and put one of these basically helicoil into there. Nice bit of kit. These are my incredible Enduro punches. They're just absolutely awesome tools. They come in a nice plush bag as well from Enduro. Stupid expensive again. £250 or something for 5-6 punches. You get 3 tubes of grease free with this result. But they are awesome. This one here, say if you've got a broken bolt in a riv nut for a bottle cage or something, You could potentially use this to drill that out, but I've never used it. And there's a Hope hub stand here. This is a spare again, so I've got another one of those. If you're removing bearings from hubs, you use this one. I had some flats milled onto this one to put it in the vise because Hope don't actually do that, which is a bit crazy. This one, I don't know what this is a slide pull kit. This needs replacing now. It's got a bit worn out and damaged, and there's a couple of sizes missing. So it's useful for pulling out internal bearings that are stuck and things like that. I do need to upgrade that. Anyone's got a recommendation for that, let me know. This is, again, it's an old AliExpress kit. I've not used it for a long time, but it was really good. It still is really good. It's for pressing in and out wheel bearings. Just put it back together, because the bad thing about it is everything just falls out when you open it. But yeah, it's really good for winding in bearings, all different sizes, 6902, 6901, they're all in there. Bit fiddly because you've got to wind it onto this massive long thread, but it does a good job. So again, pretty cheap and cheerful. But it lasted me for quite a while until I upgraded, so yeah, really good as well. And last but not least is this one in here, which has got nice stuff in here as well. This is all BSC tools as well. So this is for removing press fit bottom brackets. Different adapters in here, different sizes. Absolutely incredible tool. Go-to tool. If you've got press fit bottom bracket, this is an amazing tool. Again, more BSC. This is for refitting your press fit bottom bracket, so different size drifts here for whatever, and a handle and thread. So incredible tools, really, really impressive. Love BSC tools, not sponsored, I wish. And this one here is, what is this? Oh, I hate this. Is my most hated tool in the workshop. I absolutely hate this thing. So this is for facing off disc brake mounts. Stupidly expensive, and in my opinion doesn't do a very good job. VAR do one that's a much better tool in my opinion. It faces off both mounts at the same time. This does one at a time. You set it up so it's parallel, but I just absolutely hate it. And they don't include this. This is £150 for this little bit here. Just bonkers. So if you have a carbon fibre mount, this is designed for carbon rather than the aluminium one which comes with it. So you have to spend another £150 just for that result. So yeah. Anyway, I have it, I use it, I hate it. This is another extravagant purchase that I don't think I've ever used. This is for suspension bearings, basically on a frame where they're slightly offset, so I have these bits in here, so if you've got any sort of mouldings on the swing arm, etc., it clears that to push them in and out. I never used it, it looked useful when I bought it. It will get used one day, but it's in there. It's a nice box though. Very nice box. Result for me, I found the tool I spent hours looking for this the other day, I found it now, so result for me. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. So most of the tools are on the wall, the commonly used stuff. The slightly more obscure, slightly less used stuff pretty much lives in these drawers as well. So yeah, pretty much fully equipped. There's obviously the odd special tool in every now and again that you need to order for a one-off job, which is frustrating, but that's bike mechanics for you. You need one tool for one job, you probably never use it again. So that's why half the time it's not worth you guys spending £50 on one special tool. Let us buy it, we'll do it for you. Hope you enjoyed that, and stay tuned for plenty more videos. Thanks for watching.